Good evening, America. In just 29 seconds, the nation witnessed something it had never seen before. A man trusted with the most powerful badge in the country, exposing that he didn't understand the very document he swore to defend. March 8th, 2025, 30:42 p.m., inside the Dirksen Senate Office Building, room 2 and 86, the air was thick with anticipation, the kind that hums before a storm. Cameras were rolling, microphones live, and history was about to write itself in real time. Across the table sat Cash Patel, the newly appointed FBI director, 73 days into his tenure. Polished suit, perfect tie, media, trained confidence. A man who believed he had every answer ready. But what he didn't know was that one simple question was about to end his credibility. Facing him, Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon. Calm, composed, and armed with nothing more than a small pocket constitution, the same kind handed out at naturalization ceremonies across the nation. A booklet of words, 543 of them, that define every ounce of American power. The hearing began like any other budget talks, oversight formalities, rehearsed gratitude. But then, Merkley leaned forward, eyes sharp as a blade. "Director Patel," he began, "you've taken an oath to defend the Constitution. I assume you're familiar with it?" Patel smiled. "Of course, Senator. The Constitution is the foundation of everything we do at the FBI. It was the kind of answer that sounds good until someone decides to test it. Then came the question, the one that sliced through rehearsed rhetoric like glass. Which article of the Constitution establishes the FBI? For a moment, the room froze. The cameras zoomed in. Patel's confident grin trembled ever so slightly. He replied, "Senator, the FBI operates under Article 2, Executive Powers, and Article I through Congressional Authorization. A safe answer, a clever answer, but not the right one." Merkley paused. He opened his small pocket constitution, its yellow sticky notes placed with surgical precision. "Director Patel," he said, "does this document, the Constitution of the United States, explicitly mention any federal law enforcement agency?" The silence was electric. Patel hesitated. "Senator, while it doesn't mention the FBI by name, it grants yes or no." Merkley interrupted. Patel blinked. "Well, not explicitly." Merkley leaned in. "Then the answer is no." And in that instant, America saw it. The crack. The moment when confidence gave way to confusion. The Constitution, the sacred text every federal officer swears to defend, does not establish the FBI. Its authority exists through implied congressional power, not explicit constitutional mandate. And with that, the very foundation of Patel's understanding began to collapse. But Merkley wasn't done. He pressed harder. "Director Patel, since the FBI's authority is implied, not enumerated, can you tell me what constitutional principles limit your agency's power?" Patel scrambled for footing. "The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the Fifth ensures due process." It sounded memorized, mechanical, lifeless. Merkley's voice cut through like a blade. "Director Patel, are you familiar with the concept of enumerated powers?" Patel nodded weakly. "Yes, Senator. Those are the powers specifically granted to the federal government." "Exactly," Merkley said. "So if the Constitution only grants enumerated powers, what does that tell you about FBI authority?" That was it, the final test. And in a single sentence, Patel failed it. "The FBI," he declared, "has broad authority to investigate any crime that threatens the American people." The words hit the room like thunder. Any crime, any threat, unlimited authority in the mouth of the man leading the most powerful police force in America. The senator leaned forward, eyes burning. "Director Patel, did you just claim the FBI can investigate anything that threatens Americans?" Patel nodded proudly. "That's correct, Senator. Our mission is to protect the American people, and we have the authority to investigate any threat to that mission." It was the moment America gasped. On live television, the FBI director had just declared that constitutional limits didn't matter, that federal police power was bound only by its own perception of danger. Merkley didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He opened his Constitution and read slowly. "The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution are reserved to the states respectively or to the people." Then he looked up. Director Patel, doesn't that contradict your statement? The silence was deafening. Every journalist, every staffer, every citizen watching felt it. In 29 seconds, the FBI's top man had proven he didn't understand the boundaries of his own power. By nightfall, the hashtags trended across every platform. Fake Constitution fail, for Patel ignorance. Newsrooms exploded. Legal scholars flooded TV studios. And a nation realized how fragile its freedoms truly are when the guardians of the Constitution forget what they swore to protect. Within hours, the ACLU called for his resignation. Law professors used his testimony as a case study in constitutional ignorance. And inside FBI field offices, agents whispered the same haunting question. If our director doesn't understand the limits of his authority, who's protecting ours? The fallout was historic. Within 6 months, Patel resigned quietly, his credibility shattered beyond repair, and the Senate, for the first time, required all future FBI directors to undergo constitutional law certification before confirmation. Senator Merkley's 29-second exchange became legend, proof that sometimes the most powerful weapon against unchecked government power isn't a protest or a lawsuit. It's a simple question, asked by someone who actually knows the answer. Because in the end, the Constitution doesn't defend itself. We do. And that day, America learned that defending the Constitution begins not with guns or badges, but with knowledge, accountability, and courage to ask the question that changes everything.